Dante Unbound has launched and is live on every platform apart from iOS because it's going to be out of sync, which means if you are one of the new iOS players, crossplay and cross-save will be temporarily disabled until Dante Unbound can be released on mobile, that they have basically given no time frame to, but hopefully will be a week or two at most. Meaning, yes, Dante is now in the game, and he works weirdly with the scans targets, recording information to the codex. That can be ridiculously useful. Increased by 50% on fully scanned targets. So it increases your status chance if you have already fully scanned them. So if you've been running around with Helios, like I pretty much have been for quite some time, that's going to be pretty much done. The rest of his abilities are all going to be based around his exalted weapon, his exalted tome, and, well, it's called Noctua. The first ability basically summons it. The other abilities, you've got the light verse, the dark verse. How you cast them depend on how his ability works. It takes the last two, so it can be 2 light, 2 dark, 1 light, then dark, 1 dark, then light, and that will basically cast the ability out for final verse, which is the one that takes the 2 cast verses, even though that says 2 light verses cast in succession. Okay. 2 dark verses, a light verse followed by a dark verse, or a dark verse followed by a light verse. Yeah, he basically has 4 different alt abilities for his final verse: Triumph, Tragedy, Word Warden, and Page Flight. Oh, I'm really intrigued on this frame, the Librarian frame, who will himself come with 2 new Incarnon weapons. The arm cannon, and it will cover his entire arm, and I was really hoping that you'd be able to show the alternate version of it. And then his punching weapons that turn into claws, and they have coins on the end of them, and the sound effect for these things punching maintains the fact it's coins on the end. I am looking forward to trying these out, probably more than I am the Oh no's. There are 3 new Void Shell skins. There is stitched together for... yeah. Where is it? Oh, it's on the arms. Okay, I see it. Loki has one called the Murky Scales, and it looks like Dragon Scales, which is one I've been after for quite some time. That is on the red parts though, and actually does look pretty nice. And there is also Banshees. Sonar Ripples. And it actually looks like ripples from the sonar on her armor. Dante does have a alternate helmet. This will be in the Nightwave eventually. I wish they would just release these and add it to the Nightwave instantly. Not so it comes that week, but you know, it could come the next week or the week after. I'm assuming that has part to do with the Dante collection. Yes, it does. That would be Dante's Sandana, and it will not let me select... oh, because I need to scroll down. That would be Dante's Sandana, also purchasable separately, as is this. Yeah. You can get the normal owl that sits there. He's a pain in the butt to get a hold of, or you can get the Noctua's version, which is a ghost owl, basically. Oh, because this is what you kind of shoot out from his book. Spoiler warning. Does have an armor set with him, make him very librarian type, they keep turning around and saying. That makes him more of a witch. Dante himself looks much better without that helmet on, in my opinion, because he has kind of a grey beard that, if you put this on, disappears. It could still be there. No, it's gone. It's just straight up disappeared in favour of a witch's hat. So I do prefer his standard helmet when you can... yeah, there it is. But it's just because it has the big grey beard coming off it. And he looks more like a librarian because that's what Dante is supposed to be. Oh, I forgot about that. The red liner emote. This would be from Gauss Prime. It should have been part of his Prime access. People said this. Instead, they've released it as its own emote that you can kind of... 25 platinum isn't a lot. You can trade Prime parts for that fairly easily and get the goofy animation from Gauss Prime's Prime release video. And happy 11-year anniversary, Tenno. Log in now until December 31st, 2024 to receive the Dex Nana weapon. Really? Really? Well, a relog later, it's still not there, so we'll just kind of move on and come back to the Dex Nana. There is a whole video and everything else about Dante, what's going on, going to his Laverian from a new character. I will just put it that way. Because you kind of have to go there to get a lot of his story side done. His parts are supposed to be dropping from the new disruption missions. So that is going to... Well, it already is. Look at how many people are playing that versus basically every other mission around here. You will not be able to come and see Bird 3 and pick him up here because... Well, Bird 3 has Corvex. You will need to come and see Lloyd, go down to the bottom and hit Research Dante, because all of the new parts for Dante will be located in here. A Riven Transmuter. Oh, yes. Okay, those things can be a pain in the butt to get, and I didn't realise I had 10 of them. That is great. But the new weapons are in here. Dante is in here. It's all kind of... All of the parts can be purchased here using vessels.
Dante shared the Entrati fascination with bones.
About that? Yeah, the vessel capillaries basically drop from the new disruption mission. They only drop on Artemis. It's the only place to get them, and it's kind of weird because they drop per necromech. On normal, you will get 2 to 4 vessels. On Steel Path, you can get 5 to 7 vessel capillaries per necromech you take down. So this new resource, it's dropping from necromechs. That's been annoying, but his parts also drop there, so it means if you don't get lucky dropping his parts, you should get lucky enough to drop some vessel capillaries that you will be able to get from there. I just don't know why, with all of the other missions available here, they don't just drop from necromechs anywhere. If it's only dropping 2 to 4 at a time, no matter how you put it, that is still 2 to 4 at a time for even one. I mean, come on, 90 each for each of the parts, 270 for him. Dropping from all necromechs everywhere would have probably been better than limiting the vessel capillaries needed to buy his parts, or the weapon parts, or the weapon blueprints, or the new scenes, or even just turning them into creds, or Riven Transmuters. To be fair, even if you have got lucky and dropped all of these parts during it, Riven Transmutators are a pain. And some of these scenes are actually really nice. Sadly though, the Deep Archimedia, that's not going to launch till next week, but it does mean you'll be able to get a bonus of 5 Necrocells search pulses upon its release. You can only get 5 in a week, so they're giving 5 extra ones next week, so you can play it twice as much next week. Dante Unbound is a mainline update. Wow, round of applause to Digital Extreme. Does that really need to be in here with all of... Yeah, Prex card. It'd be nice if the last frame had a Prex card. It probably does, but I never did find it. What I do like is, close to the top of this list, if you look at where the actual marker is, General Labs and this place changes, the Sanctums changes. Yeah, this is mostly fixes and rebalancing of the Hollow Vein and other bullet sponges. Which leads us here. Archon Shard expansion, the Ascension Fusion. First off, you're going to need the coalescence segment. So it doesn't have its own segment, you just have to do that, and then you should be able to do this. Hello, Helminth. I believe under Archon shards, if you have the coalescent fusion installed that you get from Bird 3, by leveling that up, you now have Ascent Fusion, which does not require 4 of the same Archon shard. You can do it with 3. And you only have to select which one you want once. You don't have to populate each one of these. That's a nice touch. I was really hoping they were going to do that. So you don't have to fill them all. I still disagree with it needing 3. Because a normal shard, 150 health. Okay. The Tau Forged is 225 because it's basically 1.5 Archon shards. So it's like having 1.5 Archon shards installed. But it needs 3. So you're taking 1.5 Archon shards and throwing them in the bin to make a Tau Forged. This is still... I'm so glad this system is in here. Because, yeah, I don't use those, and when I do, I really do want to use a Tau Forged instead of a standard one, because energy is filled on spawn. Depends what frame you're using. Effectiveness on health orbs can be really useful on frames that don't have shields. Effectiveness on energy orbs can be pretty useful on most frames. Casting speed, parkour velocity. It's not like it's completely useless, but I'd still rather use a Tau Forged one than a standard one. It will end up costing me 1.5 that I don't really use, but one missed typo later and literally just gives you a Tau Forged. Will cost you 3 to be able to do this. I'm just glad they didn't implement another stupid upgrade segment that you would need to initiate this. If you have a lot of them, this is going to be really useful. In this update that I will have to touch on properly a little bit later, there is the Anaris rework that has basically reworked all of his abilities and the entire frame. If we are being down to earth on this one, everything about him has pretty much changed. Still works the same as he did, but better. Increased armor? Yeah, better. Mirage, Eclipse has been reworked that it's basically a tapping and holding ability where tapping it increases damage, but holding it increases weapon damage. So tapping reduces incoming damage, increased damage reduction. And holding it increases weapon damage. Instead of it being based around light, I do believe they kind of said. There is some prism changes as well, and Gora's passive change. Yeah, some things they really do go into that they don't need to. Loki's ability changes, decoy and switch teleport. Again, they don't need to really do things like that. Customizing the invisibility of Loki. Customizing the invisibility of frames that can go invisible, so you can see how invisible they go. They did this by, for the record, go to attachments, go to auxiliary slot for any frame that can go invisible, and you can have none that will just play as it does normally, semi-cloaked so you can kind of see the frame, or glow cloak. Does not go completely invisible, allows you to actually see the frame. Was this really needed? I've never had a problem playing as Loki where, or any frame that goes invisible, where I've needed to be able to add a glowing effect around the frame, or a semi-cloak for when, yeah, I've never seen a problem with that, to be fair. They've also added the Omnia Void Fissure missions. These things are going to be great. There is 2 on Lua, 2 on the Zaramon, 2 in Albrecht's Labs. Albrecht's Labs are Alchemy and Survival. Zaramon is Void Flood and Void Cascade. Lua, as you can see, will pretty much constantly be Conjunction Survival. This is kind of a special one, hence the reason you'll notice the icon keeps changing from all the different relics, because yeah, the Omnia Fissure, it is always going to be an endless mission, so it will just continue constantly. You need to have completed, what is it? The War Within to get the Lua ones, Angels of the Zaramon to get the Zaramon ones, and Whispers in the Walls to get the Albrecht Lab ones to appear there. It is random, it is on a rotation, and if you decide you're going to run these, which is a little bit higher level, which is great for leveling things as well, by the way, you can choose, oh, I don't know, pick one. You can take Lith, you can take Meso, you can take Neo, or you can take Axii relics. You can take whatever relic you want. You just can't take the red ones. Yeah. I'm now noticing that. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. It makes sense, it's a Void Fissure. It's not Requiem based. So no Requiem relics here. But Lith, Meso, Neo, or Axii on a constant, endless mission? Hell yeah. Really looking forward to doing that, especially if it's not. I can find nothing that says that is limited to level 30 or above enemies. Frames. Frames, not enemies. So you should be able to go in there with an unranked frame and start leveling it up. Oh, that's going to be great. There is so much more, like the arsenal tuning that you should receive because of the Inaris rework that will give you forma and apparently quite a bit of other things, which I did not expect. This is probably down to a lot of other things they've changed here. Oh, wait, there it is. The Dex Nana with the 11-year glyph. 11 years there instead of 10. But there it is. The Dex Nana looking all Dexy, shall we say? Oh, what does it come with? Catalyst pre-installed, so instantly have maximum points available of 60, but it falls into a realm. It is obviously better than the normal Nakana. It is, ooh, falling short from the Dragon Nakana, having a little bit more crit, a little bit more crit multiplier, more impact, puncture, but not more damage because technically the dragon has more slash. Everything else on this is green. Dare we say, worse in pretty much every single way, other than the crit multiplier, than the Dex, than the Nakana Prime. The Dex Nakana, yeah, that's... I was hoping it was going to be better than the Nakana Prime, considering this is something, yes, you can log in and get it until the end of the year at any point, but after that, it's going to be gone and it's only going to return for 1 week a year afterwards. Apart from that, you will not be able to get this thing. So log in now until the end of the year to get a hold of the Dex Nakana for free. Free weapon slot, free catalyst, already installed on this thing. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.